Okay, hello and welcome to another interview. And today we have beautiful Mara here, who I have only really just connected with, and was really deeply guided to invite her here to share her wisdom and her experiences of connecting to elementals and unseen energies of nature. So thank you, Mara. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
And I
Yeah.
really love that you're coming to this interview from Ireland as well.
I know we're bridging across the waters.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
usually in America, aren't you? So
Yeah. Yeah. So it's perfect timing. They brought me to the perfect place to have this conversation. I love it.
I love it. And when I saw your face on it, so you came up on my news feed, and I was just like you have to ask her. Like it was
Oh,
so. So
I'm delighted. Any opportunity to speak about these realms is a blessing.
yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear from you a little bit about the work you do, because you work with the land, you
Sure.
work with people as well.
I
So
do.
maybe anything that you'd like to share about your background, like what's yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see a little bit. I'll do a short little synopsis, but so I'm from Ireland. I'm from the west coast of Ireland, Galway city, right on the Atlantic. And I really opened up. I've always been quite an open child, but the story that a lot of us have, where you went back into that contracted space, and conformed to society, all of that, and really my awakening. Back into these natural gifts and abilities opened up in around 2005, where a lot of us were given that dispensation of light to start remembering who we are. And it actually happened for me in London. I spoke to you a little bit about that before, and was living there and decided I had to move back to Ireland. I had to reconnect with the land there. My soul and my the ancestors were calling me back there to begin my journey. And so through that, I began a journey of the shamanic Celtic path, and trying to figure out who I was and what these feelings and abilities were that were starting to open pretty quickly for me at that time. And so in that, I discovered that the land particularly called me, and that a lot of the land spaces where I would walk, I would feel the energies move through my feet and up through my body. And then I would have a knowing of what happened on that land, or the beings that exist there, and their need to interact with humans in order to have that bridge in this reality. So that was quite an awakening for me, because I didn't know what to do with it. It was quite overwhelming in the beginning. So I learned a lot on how to manage and work with these energies, on how to move stuck energy from the land and places, and not be afraid. Because I think probably as a child, I was interacting with these beings, elementals and other beings, that I didn't really know who I was interacting with at the time. And I probably got frightened and shut down, which I think has happened to so many of us,
For that.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the beginning of my journey. And things moved pretty quickly. I started to really trust the wisdom that was coming in for me, and empower myself to dialogue with nature in a new way, and surrendered to nature. Really, I threw myself into nature, and in the stripping back into my natural self, and to really find my answers about why I was here, who these beings were, and what this huge reservoir of energy that was moving through me was. So that was a profound time. It was challenging. It was very much many shamanic death experiences of letting go of a lot of old stuff and beliefs, and deconstruction on every level.
Did you have support with that? Did you have other people around you that
Yeah, I mean, I did, thank God. It was, I had, you know, my initial mentors that came in the form of a shamanic teacher here in my hometown, Paul O'Halloran, who's amazing. And that was the start of the journey. And from pretty quickly, though, I really started listening to spirit myself, and got direct guidance, which I would channel, I would automatic write, and which directed me to start traveling and moving around the world, and listening to where I needed to go. So I pretty much, you know, trusted myself. As I learned, to, it was like there was some sort of divine dispensation came and was showing me the way at that time. You know, I trusted my mentors, but I also knew that I couldn't give all of my power away, and that there was some new level of awareness that I had to embody in myself. So I learned to do that pretty quickly.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. With the help of nature, though, with the help of those spirits.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And they really do that, don't they? Once you start listening,
Yeah.
connecting, then
Oh yeah,
you open that gateway and that relationship and start relating, then it's there to support.
that's exactly it. Yeah, it's respecting them, and opening our hearts need to be open. And so it's really working with unraveling those layers of the heart. And so, you know, we've had so many centuries of oppression and hurts and woundings that have shut down humanity. And so that natural evolution of the heart and opening up that heart space, which is actually part of the work that I do with people, is unraveling those layers so that we can come into the pure heart frequency and really emanate that, and meet these beings. Then they're able to meet us, they're able to interact with us, but they can't when we're too contracted, or if we're frozen, and there's no space to exist in time and space with them.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the work.
Yeah.
It's part of the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a journey you've had then. That's just amazing.
Yeah, it's been pretty full on, and you know, at times I thought I was going crazy. I really did, and I think that's part of the egoic breakdown and the deconstruction of the old reality and existing separate to our true nature,
Yeah.
and separate to nature.
Yeah. And I feel this is such a taboo subject still. You know, like if you say to people about fairies, or if you know mention any of the words fairies,
Yeah,
like any of that, like yeah, people aren't comfortable with it. So
it's so ridiculous though, because you look at look at mainstream movies, look at all of these shows, like these different shows depicting these worlds, and yet there's this whole blank like veil that people can't understand that that's actually a reality that they can interface with, yet they project it and watch it.
I'd love to hear from you kind of what it feels like for you to connect to those realms, what kind of experiences you have, because it's so varied for so many people. We love you.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, let's say, okay, the way I interact with them, and it continually evolves, but it really is allowing myself to drop deep into myself. And when I'm feeling chaotic and not able to connect, I go out to nature, and I just start slowly. I'll find somewhere that brings me joy. I'll go to a tree that I love, or the woods, and the sea and the ocean for me is huge, because the minute I get there, there's this huge cathartic clearing that just gently settles the nervous system. And in that settling and dropping down, you're dropping down out of the mind, you're dropping down into the body, and then you start beginning to open and touch upon the magic of those realms. And that's the beginning point for me. So the deeper I can drop in, the deeper I can surrender and be fully present in the moment, to the place and to the little details like the moss growing on the rocks, and literally going into those worlds,
Yeah.
you know, being
And
present with that. Yeah.
for me too, I have that same experience, and it's like, it's a tiny world, but it's like this huge world almost that
Oh,
it's like a whole other reality that's just in plain sight all the time.
oh, it's unbelievable. It really, yeah, your sight, I think your sight shifts, you know, your inner sight and your third eye starts shifting, and then you're able to perceive the different realities that lie within that piece of moss, right? You know, you could be in there dialoguing. And so that dialogue for me happens in the dropping into that realm. And then there's a deep knowing, like I start to hear, I'm claircognizant, so I'll know, and then clairaudient. And then oftentimes I'll get the visual, depending. But there's just a knowing, like I'm interacting with them in that alternate reality simultaneously.
Mm. Yes.
So it's, yeah, you're there, I'm present in my body, I'm present to my environment, but there's the other elemental aspect of me is having a whole other interaction in that realm.
Yeah.
And so that unfolds. It's always through that heart opening. You know, you can feel that, like that welling up of the heart, and this joyous, like full body energy that definitely comes over me when I'm feeling that ecstatic connection in nature.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where the magic starts coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's such a teacher, isn't it, of opening the heart. It's yeah, it's really
Oh,
cool. And I do notice, like, if I'm not open-hearted, I just, yeah, if I go into the woods and I haven't done that check-in, and I'm
yeah.
kind of like marching around, which doesn't happen very often, but it does happen occasionally. And
Oh, for all of us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a different experience.
It is, and they don't, you know, they shut down. The elementals shut down, and then the interactions that you can have would maybe be more of the like angry gnomes, or the like gnarly kind of tree beings who are disgruntled that you're disgruntled, and throwing that energy around their home.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, so it's that invite to come into whatever level of nature you're interacting with a reverency, like being really reverent, and knowing that you can't just go in there and dump all your crap around,
yeah, yeah.
because they're not going to want to interact with you.
No, no.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
just
tricky.
same with humans, isn't it,
It,
really?
yeah, exactly. It's like you go over to somebody's house for a cup of tea, and then you have a moan, and you want to offload some stuff, and then you're leaving all that stuff in their space,
Yeah,
and it's not, you know, it's not a good thing to do.
yeah.
So yeah, but you know, yeah.
And I think sometimes, like, if my experience has been, if I'm coming from that open-hearted place and then I start dialoguing, maybe, you know, if I do share what's going on for me, or there can be, like, especially trees, I find just a very holding and
Yeah,
receiving and very unconditional. Maybe not all, but the ones that I get drawn to be with. Yeah. So,
of course, because you're not going, we go in to seek solace with nature, and to help us remember who we are and our affinity with all of nature. And so absolutely, that's fine, because you're going in with an open heart, you're going in to seek advice, and in the like releasing and the opening to them, you're giving back as well, because you're giving that precious connection of our realm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're feeling in that connection, aren't you? And you're
yeah.
conversation, and you're saying, I know you're here, and I know you're real, and I feel you and see you, which is
Oh
what
yeah.
everybody wants, isn't it? To be seen and felt and respected. And it's
Oh yeah.
the same for the elemental realm.
It is. It is. It just, yeah. I mean, I honestly, if it wasn't for the nature here in Ireland when I was going through my awakening, I don't know if I'd even be here. You know, the land held me and rocked me, and like really took me through some really deep stuff. And I mean, I'd be lying on the beach crying with my womb on the sand, and releasing eons of stuff. And I was held, like every time I would do that and really let go, you know, the animals would come out, the seals would be swimming in the bay with their heads popping up, and it would just take me into this place of I would feel like I was one of the mer, and I would be brought in there, and so they healed me, you know, and they continue to work with me like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's part of my desire with wanting to share all of this, is that aspect of healing that we see from nature. It's this sort of two-way thing, isn't it? It's like we heal those, well, we heal the connections, and we heal
yeah.
all these parts within ourselves. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
beautiful relationship to have, and we're here on earth to have it.
oh, I absolutely, yeah, it's precious,
Yeah,
you know. And I think that's it. But those layers of superficial mind programs and chaos that occupy so much space within us, you know, at times, and we forget, and we become so alienated from the simplicity and potency of that elemental connection, and that's everything. And if we've lost that, then I don't even know if we've a right to be here on Earth.
yeah, I really feel the same. I really feel that elemental connection is what's, oh, it's so deeply needed right now, and it's what will bring us home. For me,
Yeah.
you know, that's a pathway. It's such an
Oh,
important pathway to bring us back to truth.
yeah.
It's really real. So today in England is we were talking about it before we started,
Yeah.
election day, and it's just crazy. It like takes you into this like just crazy world. It's really like it's real, but at the same time it's, you know, it's not real. Like when you come back
Yeah.
to nature, that just it's just not there, you know.
It is not there. It's, yeah. I mean, it's these injected realities of chaos that, you know, as a collective, we're still subscribing to that reality. And yeah, it just is, it's there to create that divide, of course, you
Mm-hmm.
know. If you're focusing on all of that, you're not present to anything around you. And so beauty, you know, if that's the focus on the chaos and the suffering and the negativity, of course there's no place for real beauty. There's no place for earth.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
yeah, beauty and magic and simplicity. Those.
oh my gosh, yeah. If we could, you know, that's the practice, right, for all of us, is coming back into that simplicity and honing back in there. And the less that we have that focal outside, the more we can heal, you know, this world. um, but that stripping back is a complicated procedure for many people. So, you know, it's taking its own time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And actually that's a really important part of what I'd like to bring through with these is hearing how other people do connect. So you shared a little bit earlier about how, like, your process of dropping in,
yes,
and we spoke before we started recording about different ways that people can start to work with the elemental realms.
yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe this would be a really nice point just to talk a little bit about that. So how those, because it is simple, right?
It is.
Is bringing these different things into our lives is really simple and really accessible for everybody.
And really powerful, you know. So yeah, I mean,
The simpler it is, the more powerful it is, I reckon.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, even you've got your crystal behind you, you've your selenite and your flowers, right? So there's, and you, yeah, and I've them all, they're all lined up around me here. So they all wanted to come in
Yeah,
and support this process. But yeah, so I mean, that's where I started. So collecting the shells on the beach, like that they're amazing beings. Like the shells, and bringing in the frequency of the sea and the ocean.
and that feels really important. I love what you said then, like those, that they're beings. So like I always feel when I get a new crystal, it's like, oh, it's a new friend, you know. It's, and
Oh yeah,
to see that life is alive, that all of these things are alive.
they're alive and they're growing. I mean, these crystals can continue growing, you know, so they have their own consciousness. And yeah, so those shells and the beings that lived in those shells, they all carry a message and a healing energy and a frequency if you are open to attuning to it. And you know, people unconsciously collect beautiful things, and they collect the seashells and they have them around their home. And you know, these are very real healers, these elemental healers. And you know, obviously we could benefit more from them when we have a conscious interaction with them and an intention like that, but they're still doing their work. They're bringing in that energy of the sea, calling in, you know, the likes of the dolphins and the whale energy. They are really, really powerful elemental force beings. They, you know, can help us heal sexual abuse. They can help clear the lines and meridian lines in our bodies just by asking the energy of the dolphins and the whales to work with us. You know, they're whole collectives. And you know, that's a huge area for me, is the seals and the any of like the manta rays and all of the different oceanic beings. So that's one realm of the elemental alchemy that I love to engage with. And then the next one, which was a really powerful one for me, was starting to work with aromatherapy and then progressing and opening to really high grade plant oils. So, you know, aromatherapy, whatever label, but getting really high grade oils and working with them. And they are so potent. I haven't, thank God, had to really have any conventional medical stuff for years, because I've been working with the different plant oils, tree oils, any of these oils, and I layer them on daily on different parts of the body, and they speak to me. So once I started opening to them, they would start telling me what I needed. I'd need maybe a dot of something on my throat or a blue spruce, and then something on my kidneys. They literally interact with me as my medical team now. And it's phenomenal.
To really trust your intuition on this, isn't it? Just to like, even if it sounds like it's a bit crazy, it's just like, just go with it.
You have to go with it, because when you don't go with it, you're not given any more information.
That's so true.
And you're stopped. You're stuck. You know, so the universe and these beautiful beings that have so much to give us won't give you any more. So yeah, you're so right. Just listen, follow the crazy notion, and if the crazy notion just turns out to be nothing, then fine. But you know, often it leads to more and more. So it is so much trust and faith in ourselves.
Oh, you're so right about the oils. I've been working with essences quite a lot recently.
Oh yeah.
And oils, and actually so many flowers recently, and it's just like everything just comes alive. Like, it's their joy, isn't it? Like, it's their purpose. And so
it is.
we work with them, we're allowing them to become even more potent and even more alive.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it is. That's exactly. They're allowed to shine, and then they help us to shine, which is because you can see in people the people who are working with these elemental energies, and there is a shining from within that just, like, there's a vitality that just radiates forth. You know, and that's the different energies speaking through the person as well. So yeah, they're unbelievable, so powerful. So that's the plant oils. The crystals, I mean, the crystal kingdom is just unbelievable. We are crystals, we are becoming crystals, our bodies are becoming more crystalline. And so when we engage with the crystal beings, we're really updating all parts of our cellular structures and our DNA, and we're receiving the pure medicine, the pure mana from Mother Earth herself, her updates through the crystals. So they're really important allies. And so I feel like whatever crystals come to you, whatever ones you're drawn to, I definitely feel like you may have worked with them before. You know, that you seeded them, particularly the Lemurian and Atlantean quartz crystals. A lot of them have these horizontal striations on them, horizontal lines, which are light encoded from those times. And I definitely believe that we've, you know, whatever ones come to you, they're particularly for that person. So yeah, and they can open you up and really lift your vibration, shift your frequency in big ways. Yeah. So, and open you to new levels of elemental beings that, you know, you don't even maybe have a name for, you know, new dimensions.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So there's so many layers of this.
There really are.
Yeah.
Do you feel you have like specific beings that work with you, like from the elemental realms?
Definitely. And I think they change at different times, depending on where I am. I've spent a lot of time in the last few years in Sedona in Arizona, and also on an island up in the Pacific Northwest. And so I've had contact with what they call Bigfoot, which, you know, they're a really amazing higher dimensional elemental race that have massive hearts, very different heart signature. And so I've had a lot of interactions with that energy.
While you're saying that, so beautiful.
Yeah, they're unbelievable. They were following me around in the forest on Orcas Island in Washington, and I could feel, you know, I could see them darting in between the trees. I kept seeing this flash of light, and then I'd see the tree shapeshift into the Sasquatch being. You'd see the face and everything. So I would write when I would get home their messages and, you know, what they had to say to me. And, you know, they're big guardians of that particular part of the world. They're really working with the trees and holding a pristine consciousness of the Lemurian light codes that exist in the land there. So yeah, I was very, very honored to feel their energy and work with them for a time there.
I love that. And like all of these kind of like mythical creatures, they're actually elementals, and I almost feel like, you know, it's like I only just got that this year. I went down, I was in Wales, and I was introduced to the dragons, and I was like, oh, they're elementals. Like, I don't know, somehow I just hadn't quite got what they were, like like unicorn energies and the mer people, or I don't know what you call
it. The mer, yeah.
It's like I just hadn't got that they were part of this unseen realm. There were parts of me still kind of going, oh, this is fantasy. Yeah, it's really interesting. So I just love that you speak about them, and kind of helps me, and hopefully anybody who's watching as well, is just to realize that how many different beings exist within the elemental realm, and that they have all these different roles that they're doing on the earth to maintain the earth and maintain how the energy flows. And that's like dragon energy just kind of blew me away. I was shown what they were safeguarding. I was just like, oh
yeah, they're you don't want to mess with them. They're serious beings, and you don't have, you know, until it's like you're given more of this information and these energy signatures to interface with, the more you trust your own elemental nature, and the more you trust the wisdom that's coming to you. And, you know, I'm speaking about this from a place of like, I would have heard about these energies before I was really awake, and not really believed it. But, you know, and even over the years, I had to have a personal direct revelation with the energy in order to really understand it. Absolutely. And and so and when that happens, then you're embodying that frequency, and so then you can create a portal for someone else to maybe access that energy and have their own direct revelation of that energy signature. So it's individual for each one of us, and I think you know, we probably align with different elementals depending on our soul's journey and on our past lifetimes and all of our threads of stories,
Yeah.
you know.
I think there's so many reasons, isn't there, for connecting with different beings at different times
Oh yeah,
in life, where you are and what needs to happen. And
totally. What your body is needing and what your soul is needing in the environment that you're living in. You know, what plants are growing around you, all of that.
it's such an exciting journey, isn't it? I mean, it's
Oh,
really like it's like stepping into a story, you know,
yeah,
stepping into a fairy tale, literally. I mean,
it is.
you know, and there's the whole spectrum of experiences within that as well. So I mean, it's not all love and light, is it? Because
Oh God, no.
you go on all your own personal journey, and it brings up all your stuff, and like for you, you get to see the memories of things within the land as well, of what's
Yeah,
there. And I can imagine that's quite full on to perceive that sometimes.
it is. It is.
But it's
Yeah,
magical. It's magical, and it's not otherworldly. I was always going to say it's otherworldly, but that's exactly the point of all this, is that it isn't otherworldly. This is our
it becomes this world. It becomes our normal waking reality when we're able to integrate those energies
yeah,
within ourselves. Yeah, it does. And you know, maybe those you know, some people think that the energies that they interface with are aspects of themselves, and you know, that could be too. I definitely believe in that, but you know, maybe not all of the time, that every elemental I meet is a reflection of me. It is me,
yeah.
or every being is me, you know. I don't know about that one.
I don't know
um but yeah, there's so many. And yeah, so there is that integration with the underworld. So that underworld with the underworld, and you know, so you've with all of these different realms, of course, as you spoke to, there's going to be the dark and light. And the more that you're able to integrate that darkness within yourself, you know, the less you have to tread and in those realms of the underworld elementals, we'll say, you
yeah,
know. So yeah, so you know, you'd have dragons potentially that are malevolent, and other ones that are benevolent. So it's dependent. I think it very much depends on where you're at within your own soul's integration, right?
right, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's the same with any sort of energy or person or anything, isn't it? It's
yeah,
the same experience.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's a big topic, because actually I was just talking to a couple of family members before coming to the interview with you, and you know, it's interesting to talk to people who just have no concept of these realms. Like there's no access point at all. Like they don't have a reference for it. And even being born in Ireland with our myths of like the little people, and we fairy forts everywhere, and you guys have over there as well. And so there's, you know, there's traditions and superstitions that have existed here since time began, and yet people can still be closed to the fact that these other realms are around them, and you know, are requiring our interaction and respect.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, it's how to have that conversation with someone, to bridge that across to them about these, you know, about these energies in a way that is gentle, and you know, allows them to perceive something a little bit more, you know, to begin their journey,
yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's I'm so grateful to be able to experience nature in the way that I do now. It's beyond a gift. It's like it makes life just otherworldly, miraculous, and gives me, you know, gives you hope, and
yeah.
it allows you to be able to navigate any of the potential weird, chaotic matrices that are around us. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really brings
Yeah.
harmony back. I feel for me, that's my experience. It just brings me back, like, yeah, to
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because we all get lost. We get lost in the woods, like in every way. And it's like, whoa, I'm going down the rabbit hole. Great. I need to pull myself back and actually get out into the woods and retrieve myself from that hole, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have to be reminded. We all have to be reminded to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I feel like we've covered lots of yumminess.
Yeah, I know. There's
I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I could talk for hours.
I know.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll do that as well. Maybe we'll just like chat more as well about this. So I'm just aware of the time on the
Absolutely.
as well. So I'm curious if there's anything else that maybe you would like to share.
Yeah, let's see. I think I'm tuning into where I am, and so the land here, and what message the elementals from Ireland and from this space have to share. And I think that what I'm feeling is there's a huge time space at the moment where there's this merging of the future realities and the past, and these past myths and legends and past elementals that are, you know, merging with the future elementals and these new races of beings that want to inform our current reality so that we are able to really shift into a new earth paradigm. And for Ireland for me, and the reason I've come back here, as well as having family here and being born here, is to work with the emerald heart energy, to work with this frequency that is uprising through the grids of the earth and this particular place and portal of energy, which holds a very unique and significant frequency for the shifting of the planet and Gaia's own, you know, ascension process. And so I feel like that just whatever that energy of the inspiration of opening and uplifting the heart in the ways that we can perceive these realities, and that we can seed a new dream, that we can really call upon our elemental aspects and our star aspects, all of these aspects of us, and really come into a greater sense of reverence and openness in the heart to allow us to anchor this new reality, that it's time, you know, this is it, it's happening, and the elementals are on board, but they need our engagement, and they need us to get back out there and to really start tuning in daily. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm really, like, at the moment for me, I'm really making it my morning practice, you know, to really just
Oh yeah.
I live in town, and I just want to kind of say, you know, you can live in town and still the elemental realms, like they
of course,
everywhere.
of course they are. They're in the air, they're, you know, in our homes, through our flowers, they're everywhere. Exactly. So it doesn't matter. I mean, that's the veil that needs to shift for people, is to move through that.
It's here and present, and you can work with it now.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
I'm so moved by what you've shared there.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, because it's an overwhelming energy of heart that needs to, like, the heart needs to be expanded, but, you know, any of the shut down areas and chambers of the heart space need to be opened and awakened, and they can help us with that, but we have to be open to it, and we have to you know, engage them in that process. And where we start is by getting out in nature, and then they'll show you what's next for you as an individual, because each of us has a different path through that forest.
Yeah. Oh, that's so important.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm getting this sort of image of like nature being, I don't know if there's some other word other than guru, you know, but like it's our teacher, right?
Absolutely.
And the importance of us realizing that we do each have our own individual path, and there are techniques that are going to be different for everybody.
Yeah, there's no one technique, and you develop your own technique and your own magic with them. You know, they'll help you understand how to navigate your body, how to be in wellness, you know, what your body elementals need. It's, yeah, it's trust and faith in yourself and just diving in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I've so enjoyed this conversation.
Me too. They're
Do.
definitely uplifting the field from whatever is going on in the UK collective, but the global collective.
Yeah. Awesome. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Joy and beauty and magic and and that beautiful emerald green light.
Exactly. That's the portal. I mean, that's the portal. If you can step into that emerald heart space and open out from there and just seeing that emanation of that heart light, you know, inviting in the elementals and expanding out, and see how that goes, how it works, how it changes reality.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Yeah. Thanks, Layla. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about them.
Yeah, it's such wonderful.
Love it.
And I will leave a link to your website underneath.
Thank you.
Interview, so because people can work with you one-to-one as well. Is that
yes,
right?
Yeah. I work with people doing a heart space sessions, open intuitive guided sessions, so we can cover a myriad of different things. It depends what their soul is needing, and so I do that on Skype around the world. And then in person I do land journeys at different points, so I'll put them up on my website as they come into being.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you, elementals. Thanks to all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody that's tuned in and that has found their way to this video and has watched it all. And I wish everybody just the most beautiful, heart-opening nature experiences, and just invite you to get outside, enjoy nature, and bring it into your home and work with the essences and the oils and the crystals and whatever else is for you. Just trust what's being invited in, and follow your journey. So
thank you, love.
Love to you, and go really soon.
Thanks, Layla.
Bye.